Why Cowboys' Micah Parsons is not even worried about Lamar Jackson ahead of Week 3 showdown with Ravens. Facing the Baltimore Ravens and their star-studded offensive backfield of two-time NFL MVP Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry would cause any defense to worry. Dallas Cowboys three-time All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons even called Jackson probably the best dual-threat quarterback in the league and in history, today on Tuesday at Raising Cane's. Dating to 2023, the second of Jackson's two NFL MVP seasons, he has passed for 26 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, which is tied for the fourth-best touchdown-to-interception ratio in the NFL in that time. He has also racked up at least 750 rushing yards in each of his first 5 NFL seasons from 2019 to 2023, the most such seasons by an NFL quarterback in NFL history. However, Parsons once again focused on the Cowboys, going off on his defense teammates at his regular media availability after practice on Wednesday to light a fire under them regarding their effort and technique. They were shredded by 5-time Pro Bowl running back Alvin Kamara for 115 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on 20 carries, an average of 5.8 yards per carry in New Orleans' 44-19 Week 2 win at the Cowboys on Sunday. Kamara totaled 180 yards from scrimmage to go along with 4 touchdowns. According to Pro Football Focus, the Cowboys' top 4 defensive tackles Osa Odigizua, 45.6 PFF defensive grade, 91st out 115 NFL DTs, Motzie Smith, 28.9 PFF defensive grade, 114th out 115 NFL DTs, Linval Joseph, 31.7 PFF defensive grade, 111th out of 115 NFL DTs, and Jordan Phillips, 29.6 PFF defensive grade, 113th out of 115 NFL DTs, have performed like some of the NFL's worst at their position to begin 2024. Right now, Parsons doesn't believe it's worth thinking about Jackson's unique abilities until Dallas cleans up their own mess. I think it was effort and technique. At some point, all 11 on the field got to have the same mindset, and that's just toughness, Parsons said on Wednesday. You talk about who you want to be and all this other stuff. But you've got to go out there and be it. It can't just be one guy. It can't be 2 guys. It's all 11 guys. It takes everyone. I affect the linebackers affect the DBs. We aren't all synchronized. One group's getting FD up, then another group's going to get FD up. It's a synchronized chain. So at the end of the day, it's all about toughness and having the mentality like I'm going to dominate the man in front of me. Not all 11 had that last week. He spoke about how Saints quarterback Derek Carr only needed to drop back to pass, in a traditional sense without play action, a measly 5 times on Sunday. That was the lowest amount of true dropbacks, no play action, in a Week 2 game last week by a wide margin as the next quarterback above Carr, Cardinals Pro Bowler Kyler Murray, had 13 in a 41-10 win versus the Los Angeles Rams. That statistic is what Parsons focused on when asked about containing Jackson when he drops back to pass, perhaps as quarterback spy along with second-year linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. It's a great chance, Parsons said of he and Overshown spying Jackson, to keep him in the pocket. As long as we stay in our rush lanes, we do what we're supposed to, but importantly is to get him to pass the ball. We didn't do a good enough job of that. So until we show we can earn the right to pass rush, we had 3 dropbacks last game? That's outrageous. That's not even a football game. It's like we're playing pony football all over again. So until we fix the fundamentals, I'm not even worried about Lamar at this point. Veteran Cowboys linebacker Eric Kendricks said on Wednesday that the defense as a whole has to buck up. Parsons agreed. Toughness. Step up. Ain't no other choice, Parsons said when asked about defending the combination of Jackson and Henry. Derrick Henry's going to come downhill, like it or not. So it's not like a matter of are you going to stop it. It's just, are you going to do it or not? I know I'm ready for the matchup. Micah's movement. One of new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer's primary goals this season was to create more one-on-one matchups for Parsons, the 2023 NFL quarterback pressures, 103, and quarterback pressure rate, 21.8%, leader, and move him away double teams and other methods offenses use to try and take him out of the game. Parsons was double-teamed on 35% of his pass rush plays in 2023, the most in the league among edge players, per the NFL's next-gen stats. In 2024, Parsons is off to another great start with 14 quarterback pressures, the third most in the NFL and only 3 behind league leader Aiden Hutchinson, 17. The problem is only 3 of those pressures came against the Saints on Sunday, with much of that to do with New Orleans controlling the game on the ground. When they did throw the football, Parsons felt they used a maze involving chipping and max protections to keep him off balance. That's not what Zimmer was hoping for. Maybe I tried to use him a little bit more in a lot of different things, Zimmer said on Monday. Hindsight is 20/20. It may have affected some of the other players and asked them to do too many things this week. That's why I say I need to do a better job with that. When he played the run, he played very good. He played a 6 technique, he played a 4 technique, he played a 9 technique. Obviously, there are a couple of plays he would like to have back, but I thought he played very well. Probably played as good as anybody. Despite predominantly lining up along the defensive line, Parsons' alignment along the defensive front has varied, per PFF. 3 snaps at left defensive end, LDE, defender lined up on or shading the right tackle in a 3-point stance. 14 snaps at outside left defensive end, LEO, defender lined up completely outside of the right tackle and in a 3-point stance. 37 snaps at left outside linebacker, LOLB, defender lined up 1.5 yards or less from the line of scrimmage, lined up on the inside shade of the right tackle or wider and in a 2-point stance. 1 snap at right defensive end, RDE, defender lined up on or shading the left tackle in a 3-point stance. 27 snaps at outside right defensive end, REO, defender lined up completely outside of the left tackle and in a 3-point stance. 17 snaps at right outside linebacker, ROLB, defender lined up 1.5 yards or less from the line of scrimmage, lined up on the inside shade of the left tackle or wider and in a 2-point stance. The 3-time All-Pro said it's on his teammates to execute their responsibilities when he moves around because his movement isn't him freelancing. Everyone on the Dallas defense knows what's coming. At the end of the day, I feel like it should boost people, right? The expectations is like I'm the person that's gonna get the slide, I'm the person that's going to get majority of the chips and the double teams. You know, the harassment. We kind of expect people to win. Like I don't really think moving around is like that difficult for people, you know? Because it's not something we're not practicing or we're not doing. This is all practice behavior. So it would be shocking to me if you were to limit me because I would think it would be the worst thing. The worst thing for the Cowboys would be for their defense to be run over 2 weeks in a row and loss against the Ravens. Sunday will reveal if they can jolt their run defense back to life. Cowboys worth watching heading into Week 3 is the state of the running game, which has been a disappointment even in a win against the Browns, but especially in a blowout loss to the Saints. And facing off against the Ravens this week adds a special wrinkle, because for much of the offseason, one player who was repeatedly linked to the Cowboys will be on the field for Baltimore, future Hall of Famer Derrick Henry. When it was apparent that the Cowboys would not be bringing back Tony Pollard after last season, the hope around the team was that they'd be looking for a between-the-tackles bruiser, a job few fill better than Henry. Who was heading to the free agent market? Henry has a house in Dallas. In 4 of the last 5 years, he led the league in carries, showing what a workhorse he can be. He was leaving Tennessee after 8 years with the Titans. His focus was on winning a Super Bowl. Indeed, all the stars seemed aligned for the Cowboys to make a run at him. But when free agency hit, crickets. Henry got 2 years and a modest $16 million from the Ravens. The Cowboys brought back Ezekiel Elliott for 1 year and $2 million. As David Moore wrote in the Dallas Morning News, citing organization sources, the Cowboys had no intent on spending money at the running back position. Cowboys Jerry Jones, that's not really connected. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, speaking on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas this week, shrugged off the fact that the Cowboys were so intricately linked to Henry in free agency. He said that such links never came from him or the team. "There are a lot of good players that you are connected with," Jones said. "When you've got movement, I'll bet you're connected with 90% of all the free agents that are out there. That's not really connected, at all. That's a name." Jones had some praise for Henry but said he was never seriously considered in Dallas. "He's a heck of a running back, but you won't find anyone who will do a better job than the one we saw on Sunday, Alvin Kamara with the New Orleans Saints," Jones said. "Have all the respect in the world for him, he is a top running back. We got other things we've got to get ready to do other than just regret or lament on whether or not we signed one of those players we're playing on Sunday." To be fair to Jones, while the Dallas run game has struggled, the Cowboys have gained just 170 yards on the ground, 25th in the NFL, and their average of 3.7 yards per attempt ranks 26th. Henry has not been great either, with 130 yards in 31 attempts in 2 games thus far. He does have 2 touchdowns. But he is wrong to suggest that the Cowboys-Henry connection is all a media construct. Henry himself indicated he'd like to play for the Cowboys, and said on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. Henry said earlier in the offseason, in an appearance on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, that his priority is winning, but he is not looking to play for free either. "I want to be somewhere that, whatever happens, gives me the best shot at winning the Super Bowl. The business side, there's a business side. It has to make sense. I'm not going to just accept anything, at the same time, because it is a long season and we put our bodies through a lot. But I definitely want to be on a roster that can go out there and put ourselves in position to win games and get in the playoffs and contend for a ring."